Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Beastly Eel, and in today's video we're going to be talking about Superman 2025. So this is supposed to be the first, well it was the first movie in the new DCU. Um, this was James Gunn's first big movie for this new universe that he's created, right? So there was a lot of hate before the movie came out, and there was some hate after the movie came out. I do not understand why. This was an incredible movie. It was well done. It was, in my opinion, one of the best Superman films um, because of the story behind it. It was Superman just trying to be human, even though the world is trying to be against him, and how they showed how quickly people would turn against him rather quickly. And just seeing that was kind of interesting, an interesting take. And then obviously, the stereotypical Superman trope where he's not using his full strength because he's afraid to, because he doesn't want to hurt anybody. And I think that's one of the big things that has always been a Superman thing. Now, myself, I'm normally not a huge Superman fan, never really have been. However, I really enjoyed this movie and thought it was incredible. We get introduced to the universe that exists right now. We don't get to know everything, but we get to know a decent amount. So there's a corporation trying to create a group of superheroes. Right now, the name is in development, but they're calling themselves the Justice Gang. And, excuse me, they have, although I don't think it's officially called it yet, the Hall of Justice. And so one of the big things there is right now there's only three members that we're aware of. So Hawkgirl, um, Guy Gardner, and Mr. Terrific. Superman has worked with them before. He doesn't like them that much because their tactics are always a little weird. We get introduced to obviously Lex Luthor, who is turns out to be the main villain of this. Let's be honest, shouldn't have been all that shocking. Um, if I didn't say it, I'm saying it now. There was definitely spoilers ahead, and definitely now. I'll say it now. We also got introduced to Crypto, obviously the dog. We find out that he's actually Kara's dog, and not Superman. And it seems to be more, or the thought is right now, although this has not been confirmed, that Superman was trying to protect Crypto, not because he likes him, but it has to do with the fact that he was afraid of what Kara would do once she found out he was no longer around. Anyway, so we have that happening. Lex Luthor creates a pocket dimension where he keeps all of his prisoners, one of which is Metamorpho. Metamorpho is a metahuman with the ability to pretty much create anything from his body. He has to know the chemical. No, well, not just chemical. He has to know all the compounds in the atom foundation and the molecule foundation of what he's going to create, and then he'd be able to create it. At one point, he uses the power to create kryptonite to poison Superman. Also, he has a kid. Don't ask questions. Metamorpho supposedly, we're assuming, teams up or joins the um, Justice Gang. I mean, it was a quick like, oh yeah, you're definitely in type of thing, and then it was kind of unclear if he was 100% in. But anyway, we also had two other villains. The engineer, who is in this a woman who pretty much has a bunch of nanobites inside of her body, and she can basically create anything she wants with them, weapons and such, because of that. We also have Ultraman, who is not the Ultraman from the comics that we all know. Like he's not part of the crime syndicate. He is specifically a clone of Superman, who is completely controlled by Lex Luthor and the Luthor Corps. Sorry, Lex, no, Luthor Corps. I was right because it's weird because I'm so used to LexCorp, but it's Luthor Corps here. But anyway, that being said, we find out that obviously he's a clone. and cannot actually think for himself. He's basically, unfortunately, has to be controlled by the others. So when he's given free range, he really doesn't know what to do. Superman knocks him into a black hole. My thought is he will become what we would know as Bizarro. However, obviously, we have to wait and see if that happens. So we have that. We got introduced to Kara, Peacemaker, Maxwell Clad? No. John Maxwell? No. I can't think of it now. But anyway, Sean Gunn's character that we're going to be seeing heavily in Peacemaker season two. Trying to think of anybody else that was kind of introduced. I mean, obviously, Superman's parents were there. Lois Lane was there. The Daily Bugle. No, not the Daily Bugle. Daily Planet. Wrong universe. Um, and we got to see all of them kind of interact with each other in that sense. I think that's it. That was all that was kind of introduced that we are 100% aware of. But it was very interesting to kind of see. But that being said, so that was the story. Obviously, is Superman saves the day, stops Lex Luthor, stops the destruction of the universe splitting in half, um, and you know they have now Superman, the hero again, and the Justice Gang adding a new member. And there were all right. So there were two after credit scenes, but there was one scene that was at the end. Okay, so the scene at the end is when we see Kara get into the Fortress of Solitude, and she is drunk. Um, Apparently, she has been going to galaxies with a red sun planet so she can get drunk and partying up. And that's kind of we're assuming is going to be the main point of her movie. And also, Crypto. We also find out then that she's the owner of Crypto. Um, then we have another. We have two other scenes. One is of Superman and Crypto on the moon, looking at. Well, we're assuming it's the moon, and looking back on Earth. Um, Crypto looking at the camera and Superman looking out at Earth. And then the other one was when when the city kind of went back together. Superman and Mister Terrific are staring at this one building, and Superman's like, I think it's uneven. And Mister Terrific flips out and he's like, you know what? What do you want me to do? Knock the whole building down and start back fresh again? And he leaves, and then Superman's like, I really am sometimes such a jerk. And that kind of shows the innocence, not so much innocence, but the Boy Scout we get of Superman that we don't normally or we haven't recently seen. I'll say that. But I loved this movie. This was very good start to the DCU. I'm very much looking forward to Peacemaker season two, which is coming out at the end of next month, I believe. I forget, but it's in August. So I'll be very much looking forward to that. Excited to see where the rest of this universe is going to expand to. Mostly due to the fact that we don't really know much. What we have heard though is it's leading up to something big for like the first big kind of um, boom, but we'll have to kind of wait and see what that looks like. But let me know what you guys thought about this movie down in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you not? And why? And as always, if you like the content you see, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a wonderful night. Bye bye.